midnight, you reach for a second slice of cake knowing you'll regret it. We call this weakness of will. But what if Socrates is right and there's no such thing? What if the late-night snacker isn't weak at all, just bad at math? Athens, around 403 BC. Socrates sits across from Protagoras, the most famous sophist in Greece. Sophists were paid teachers of rhetoric, the art of persuasion. Protagoras teaches the sons of rich Athenians how to win arguments. Socrates corners him with a single question. Are pleasure and the good the same thing? Protagoras hesitates. He doesn't want to sound like the common crowd, the many, who chase pleasure as their highest goal. So he distances himself. Pleasure and goodness, he says, are not identical. Socrates nods. The trap is set. He just needs Protagoras to define one more term. That term is akrasia, weakness of will. You know the right thing to do, yet you do the wrong thing because immediate pleasure overpowers you. The cake at midnight, the cigarette after quitting. Protagoras agrees this is what happens. So does the common crowd. They believe two things at once: pleasure is good, and sometimes pleasure overcomes us, dragging us into bad choices. Socrates is about to show that these two beliefs cannot both be true. One of them has to break, and when it breaks, the entire ordinary picture of moral failure breaks with it. Here's the trap. Suppose pleasure simply is the good as the many believe, then saying you were overcome by pleasure means you were overcome by the good itself. But nobody calls that weakness. Nobody says, I was tragically overpowered by what was best for me. So the phrase falls apart. What actually happened was a moral collapse. You traded a small immediate pleasure for a much larger future pain. You added wrong, you measured wrong. That's not vice, that's ignorance. Akrasia, properly analyzed, dissolves into a mass error. The drama of the divided soul, the will-fighting desire, vanishes. There's just a calculator that needs better training. One note before we go further. Socrates isn't endorsing hedonism, the view that pleasure is the highest good. He's borrowing the crowd's premise to expose where it leads, grant their assumption, and Akrasia evaporates. Now watch the sophists pivot. The instant Socrates concludes that ignorance can be taught, and therefore paid teachers like them have a function, Hippias and Protagoras suddenly nod along. The truth abandoned the moment fees came into view. Their agreement is not philosophical, it's commercial. Now Socrates turns to courage. The coward flees danger. But what is the coward really doing? Misjudging what is genuinely fearful, mistaking small risks for large ones, large goods for small ones. The brave person stands firm because they know accurately what is worth fearing and what isn't. Self-control, moderation, follows the same logic. The moderate person knows which pleasures are greatest and which are traps. The intemperate person miscalculates. So courage is knowledge. Moderation is knowledge. Wisdom obviously is knowledge. And justice, knowing how goods should be distributed among people, is knowledge too. All four classical virtues turn out to be the same underlying thing. This is the unity of the virtues. Wisdom, courage, moderation, and justice are not four separate qualities. They are four facets of a single jewel, knowledge of the good. A quick clarification: unity does not mean identical. Courage still describes how you act under threat. Justice still describes how you treat others, but both flow from the same underlying understanding. Cut the knowledge, and every virtue collapses at once. Its opposite, then, is also one thing: vice is ignorance. The cruel man, the cowardly man, the greedy man, the unjust man are all making the same kind of mistake, just in different domains. The irony deepens. The sophists who teach virtue for money are themselves the perfect picture of disunity. Protagoras sells rhetoric only, distinguishing himself from Hippias, who teaches everything, and Protagoras, who specializes in word distinctions. They are plural in expertise, plural among themselves, and plural within themselves. As Protagoras starts losing the argument, his rivals don't defend him. They lean back, ready for his fall. No solidarity, no shared truth, just a marketplace. Compare that to Socrates, who claims one method, one goal, one virtue, and refuses payment. The fragmentation of the sophists mirrors precisely the fragmented soul their rhetoric produces in students. Then comes a remarkable moment. Protagoras, having lost the argument, doesn't sulk. He looks across the table at the younger man and predicts that Socrates will become one of Greece's great teachers, pure intellectual grace. For 1 second, a sophist behaves like a philosopher. It's a gift Socrates accepts without triumph. The contrast is sharp. Hippias and Protagoras shifted with the coins. Protagoras, defeated, found something steadier than his trade. The lesson lands quietly. Even sophists, given the right pressure, can glimpse the unified good their teaching denies. Step back and see what Socrates has built. Rhetoric chases applause. Dialectic, disciplined philosophical inquiries through question and answer, anchors thought to a stable object. By demonstrating that the virtues are one, Socrates has produced exactly the kind of fixed object thought needs. Plato will later picture this as an ascent. Down in the cave, shadows, opinion, persuasion, fees, the fluctuations of the crowd. Up the staircase of dialectic into the light. The unity of the virtues, knowledge of the good. Philosophy is not decoration, it is the climb out. This argument founded a tradition. Ethics grounded in knowledge, philosophy as moral therapy. The conviction that no one truly does wrong willingly. Every later moral philosopher answers to it, whether they accept it or refuse it. If virtue is knowledge, then every cruel act is a kind of stupidity. And every philosophy class is, in Socrates' eyes, moral training.